1, 2, microphone check. Flip the monitor, please. In the top stories, tropical alert issued for weather disturbance. Environment Minister meets with Antiguan officials, and Barbados Royal Women win 60 finals. We'll be right back with the details after this.
Mosoka, 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 mosoka.
Be ready for school with the coolest deals from Quartz. Free gifts with your back-to-school purchases. Plus, up to 50% off cell phones, computers, printers, televisions, and more. Shop today with no cash and get instant credit on 3 to 36 months credit plans. Save big with great deals and head back to school in style. Only from Quartz. Bringing value home. Conditions apply.
Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Major Newscast. I'm Jason Davis. The St. Kitts Meteorological Office has reported that a tropical cyclone alert is in effect for the British Virgin Islands and the Leeward Islands, including St. Kitts and Nevis. A tropical cyclone alert means that, in this case, a tropical disturbance is in our monitored area of concern, but a watch or warning is not required at this time. A statement issued on Sunday said it is too early to determine the full impacts of the system, if any, with high certainty at this time. The system, AL91, is forecast to be in the vicinity on Friday or Saturday as a tropical depression or a minimal tropical storm. Therefore, it poses an elevated threat with the potential to cause limited impacts from storm force winds and high seas, resulting in life-threatening conditions and minor disruptions to daily life. The public is being urged to implement your hurricane disaster plan, and at the time of the statement, the system was about 1,200 miles east-southeast of St. Kitts, moving towards the west at 10 miles per hour. A turn to the west-northwest is forecast for around the middle of the week. Maximum sustained winds are near 35 miles per hour with higher gusts. Some strengthening is forecast, and the system is likely to become a tropical depression later this week. The Met Office says that there are no watches or warnings in effect at this time. However, residents are urged to monitor tropical disturbance AL91 closely and be prepared to implement their hurricane plans if called upon to do so. Minister of Environment and Climate Action, Senator the Honorable Dr. Joy Clark, convened a series of meetings in Antigua and Barbuda on Thursday, where she met with the Honorable Malwin Joseph, Minister of Environment, Health and Wellness, and civil society organizations to discuss matters relative to both countries and the region on a whole. During a courtesy call, Senator Clark and Minister Joseph discussed key environmental concerns facing both islands, including including water access. Minister Joseph noted that the regional conversations were important for readying the Caribbean leaders for the upcoming United Nations Conference of Parties, or COP27, where issues of loss and damage and adaptation finance would be a priority for Antigua and Barbuda and the rest of the region. The conversation focused on Dr. Clark's primary reason for the visit, which is her engagement with CSOs and feminist organizing around climate justice in the Caribbean. Dr. Clark described the interaction with Minister Joseph as fruitful, adding that, quote, the visit with Minister Joseph and the staff at the Department of Environment, Health and Wellness in Antigua and Barbuda reinforced the need for continuous regional dialogue in charting a course for a climate-resilient Caribbean, end quote. Minister Clark also engaged in a series of meetings with relevant civil society organizations, including Environmental Awareness Group and Women Voices for Leadership in the Caribbean, and she also took part in a special news feature on ABS radio and TV stations with climate and gender specialist Aisha Constable, who is spearheading the regional conversation for the Global Fund for a women-funded project dubbed Movement-Led Approach for Feminist Organizing and Climate Justice in the Caribbean. And we wrap up our national segment with a bit of sport. The St. Kitts Nevis Patriots are in the finals of the 60 tournament today after defeating the Jamaica Talawas. The finals themselves are underway as of news time, and the Patriots booked their spot after edging out the Talawas 123-3 to 122-4. Patriots won by 3 wickets with 4 balls remaining. Kittitian player Jeremiah Louis of the Patriots said despite the pressure of it being the semifinals, they kept their heads and followed their game plan.
We composed ourselves, we stuck to the basics, we came out, we did a job with the ball, and we finished up with the bat by doing the simple things and sticking to our plans.
In Game 2 on Sunday, Trinbago Knight Riders booked their spot in the finals after defeating Barbados Royals 104-3 to 101-5. Trinbago won by 3 wickets with 8 balls to spare. Tian Webster of the Knight Riders said the bowlers used some unique conditions of the pitch to their advantage.
I think our bowlers, they started off a little badly, but I think we bowled back to the end. The pitch, I think it's a bit too pace. When they really hit the wicket, for the pacers, with the change-ups, it's kind of difficult to hit. So I think our bowlers realized that and use it well for us and bring us out on top.
Meanwhile, the Barbados Royal Women emerged as champions of the Women's 60 tournament after defeating Trinbago Knight Riders women 65-50. Player of the series Hayley Matthews said that they were excited about the win and said their bowlers were the key to their victory.
Yeah, I think everyone's pretty on top of the world. Obviously, really proud to be able to come out here and win this tournament, the inaugural one. Yeah, just looking forward to what this can do for West Indies cricket. For sure, I think after our bowling display yesterday, we saw our bowlers come out and execute really, really well, and we had no doubt once we got a couple of early wickets, we were right in it. Canada Joseph obviously started us off with the ball really well, getting the 2 big wickets with the Andrew Dawson in there as well. So I think our bowlers did a fantastic job just going out there executing, and it showed in the end that wins you games.
Player of the series for the 60 women's tournament, Hayley Matthews. Coming up, we'll have another look at some of the stories from the past week. Stay tuned.
What's your reason?
Because on weekends we have special from Thursday up to Monday. So I will encourage more people to come.
What's your reason?
They like come up for the cheap shrimps. You know, cheap things good now when I get.
There's always a great reason to shop at Hortsports Value Mart IGA.
You could find the products that you really need.
Hortsports Value Mart IGA, where
price matters most.
Shop smart at Value Mart.
There is no better time to discover what your National Bank Visa debit or Black Cards can do.
Mimi, what's that song?
It can get you out of a pickle. Using my National Bank Visa card is fast, secure, and convenient.
Cashless SKN is our new lifestyle choice. National Bank, always here.
Government headquarters has released an updated list of portfolios for the members of cabinet, with some new additions to the previously announced responsibilities. Here are the details. A release on Monday outlined the new list of responsibilities for each member of cabinet. Prime Minister, the Honourable Dr. Terence Drew, is the Minister of Finance, National Security, Citizenship and Immigration, Health and Social Security. Deputy Prime Minister, the Honourable Dr. Jeffrey Hanley, is the Minister of Education, Youth Empowerment, Social Development, Gender Affairs, Aging and Disabilities, as well as Ecclesiastical and Faith-Based Affairs and Housing and Human Settlement. The Right Honourable Dr. Denzil Douglas is Minister of Foreign Affairs, International Trade, Industry, Commerce and Consumer Affairs, Economic Development and Investment. The Honourable Conris Maynard is Minister of Public Infrastructure, Energy and Utilities, Domestic Transport, Information, Communication and Technology and Posts. The Honourable Marcia Henderson is the Minister of Tourism, Civil Aviation, International Transport, as well as Employment and Labour and Urban Development. The Honourable Samal Duggins is the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Marine Resources and Cooperatives, Small Business and Entrepreneurship, and Sport and the Creative Economy. Senator, the Honourable Dr. Joyelle Clark, retains her original portfolio as Minister of Sustainable Development, Environment and Climate Action, as well as Constituency Empowerment, and Senator, the Honourable Garth Wilkin, retains his responsibilities as Attorney General and Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs. Meanwhile, the Honourable Iselene Phillip remains Senator in the National Assembly. Jason Davis for ZIZ News. The St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party-led administration of the government of St. Kitts and Nevis is promising transparency in the rebuilding of the Bastair High School, according to Education Minister, the Honourable Dr. Jeffrey Hanley. More in this report. The high school was shut down about 8 years ago, just before the change of administrations in the country. Since then, attempts have been made to rebuild the school, and the Team Unity administration promised to build it on the Bastair Valley Aquifer. In an exclusive interview with ZIZ News on Friday, Dr. Hanley said the public would know what is happening as it relates to tests and reports that will be done prior to the construction of the school on the original location.
I am someone who believes in transparency, and I think I can speak on behalf of the entire government, because that is something we pushed in our campaign. And as a child of God myself, I have to do things in accordance to what God expects of me. And if for some reason the report comes back, or after the testing have been done or whatever they would do, and they find that the site is not the appropriate site for the building of the school, the country will know that. And then we'll go to Plan B, and that is ensuring that we find a suitable location.
He said that there is sentimental value that can be appreciated rebuilding the school on its original site.
I think that is something that the country would appreciate, especially knowing the fact that the attempt to try to build the new Bastair High School on the water aquifer was a no-no from the beginning.
He also spoke of the effects of the shutdown on the students.
It is clear that at the time it was a political strategy which worked in itself, in that it toppled a government, but it also prevented a generation of children from having the privilege of having that experience of being in a school environment.
ZIZ News will continue to feature aspects of the interview with Minister Hanley regarding the building of the Bastair High School. On Friday, Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, interacted with members of the St. Kitts Nevis Defence Force during a meeting at Camp Springfield. Here's more. This is part of a series of visits where the Prime Minister has been meeting with staff of various departments within his ministries. Addressing the soldiers, the Prime Minister pointed out their importance in the safety and security of the nation and in enforcing the rule of law.
Without the rule of law, nothing that we enjoy today we would enjoy. Relative peace and tranquility, the opportunity to grow up in a country where you can have families and be able to pursue your own happiness and dreams. And therefore, I understand in that, and our people understand in that, we should never take for granted the role that you play in making sure that we have law and order.
He noted that he values the role of the Defence Force, and that's why his visit to the soldiers was one of his earlier visits to his various ministries and departments.
It is to indicate to you and to indicate to St. Kitts and Nevis that we take law and order very seriously, and the men and women who are involved, you too must be taken very seriously. So on behalf of our country, on behalf of the Federation, on behalf of your government, I want to say thank you very much for making sure that we have a country that we call a democracy where we can all live in relative peace and tranquility.
Following the address, the Prime Minister, Permanent Secretary Osmond Petty, and Attorney General Garth Wilkin listened to and interacted with the soldiers as they laid out their concerns and issues within the force. After the break, social media personality in Guyana questioned over rape allegations, and Pakistan declares national emergency as hundreds die in floods. Stay tuned.